let's go ahead and talk about process maturity. One of the staggering statistics that I came across preparing for today's presentation is that there is a statistic that indicates 70% of all improvement opportunities within an organization are achieved when a company simply focuses on and fixes their broken business processes. Typically, when we engage with clients, we find that many of them have processes that are either completely undefined, or they are relying on tribal knowledge of their individuals, or maybe those processes are very loosely defined. We often see that even in cases where the processes are defined, a lot of times they aren't being followed, or they're difficult to execute because of the current technology solution that you may have in place. We have seen a lot of companies that have come to rely on manual workarounds or are doing a lot of non-value added work just to get things done. Even when clients come to us and want assistance in selecting technology solutions, we actually encourage them first to look at their current state of business process maturity. We spend a lot of time with them mapping out their current state and, more importantly, where they want their future state to be. And then, and only then, do we then begin the process of technology evaluation and selection. The reason is, if we simply move right to technology selection, oftentimes we are implementing modern technology over really poor business process. That is why we really encourage everyone that is evaluating technology to first take a step back and really do a deep dive, spend some quality time really understanding where you envision your business to be across some of your key value streams. Only then does it really make sense to consider how technology might help you maximize and optimize some of those business processes. With that, let's go ahead and move into our next poll question, which is all about technology. So as you consider your primary technology platform today, what we'd like to understand is how long your organization has been on its current solution. Let's take a look at the responses. Pretty typical. We have a few of you on the line, about 10% that have had your current solution less than a year. So again, maybe you're in the middle of implementation and really trying to maximize your use of the solution. Pretty commonly, we see a lot of customers kind of in that mid-range, having had a solution maybe in that 5 to 7 year range. And then actually kind of surprisingly, a lot of you, over half of you, have actually had your current solution more than 10 years. One of the things that we see very typically is that the useful life or the typical lifespan of an ERP solution is usually between 7 and 10 years. So maybe a lot of you that are on the call today that are kind of in that 10 plus year range are actually looking potentially at new solutions. So with that, let's go ahead and wrap up the first part of the presentation today. And really, from my standpoint, I think the key takeaway is that in order to leverage modern technology, I think you have to consider a couple of things first. Number one, you definitely have to have what I call the right people on the bus. In other words, you need to have the right people in place, in the right positions in your company, have really knowledgeable people that are really driving process improvement. Number two, I think you really need to have a good understanding and well-defined business processes. And in some cases where you've actually identified that you have some process issues, you need to maybe think about how do you solve those first before you simply implement technology over the top of that. I would just encourage all of you to really consider where those gaps are, map out where you want to be in the future state in those key process areas, and then use that to really develop requirements as you start to evaluate potentially new solutions. I think once you do that, then that's really when you want to consider technology and analyze what, if any, changes you need to make in terms of technology, whether it's just simply upgrading your current solution or, again, maybe even considering new solutions and new supporting technology, as it were. When you proceed in that order, that's when you can really achieve business transformation and when your investment really starts to pay off.